Hi everybody, so today I'm doing a pantry organization video, as you can probably tell from the title. I have been in my apartment for about 2 years now. I did organize my pantry about a year ago. I had gone to the Container Store, I had gone to Target and got a few items that I thought would help me stay a little bit more organized, and they have helped me tremendously. I also wanted to reorganize my pantry because I find that lately I know what I've been reaching for most. And I believe it's important, of course, to have the items that you want to reach for most, or you do reach for most at eye level. We'll get into that a little bit later. I'll also be sharing some tips or tricks along the way. I know that have helped me tremendously. Another thing is that I do live in an apartment, so as you can see, I don't have the biggest pantry. It does go deep, so I am pretty lucky. I have seen some apartments that have smaller. Like my old apartment, we had a tiny one. So I am really lucky, but because I do tend to have more food than just one pantry, I actually use another cabinet as well for more spices, extra things like that. So I'm gonna be taking you through both. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my pantry and I'm gonna take everything out. To save time when you're taking the items out, go ahead and sort them into groups of use. So I'm going to, when I take out my tin foil and my parchment paper, I'm gonna go ahead and group those together, of course. And then when I'm taking out my snacks, I'll group my snacks together, and then breakfast items. You get the gist. But I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that, and then I will see you in a second. Okay, so now that everything is taken out, I did leave the storage bins in the pantry because I'm gonna go ahead and wipe everything out down in the pantry. I'm going to just do a full-on clean of it. Okay, so now that all the shelves are wiped down, the containers are wiped down, the next step I'm gonna do is consolidate. So any items I have that can go into other containers, I'm going to move. So I have oats and brown sugar that I'm gonna put into my OXO Good Grip containers. I got these last year at Costco in a 12 pack for like $80. It's kind of expensive, but they come in all different shapes, sizes, things like that. And I find them really handy when I'm grabbing items. It's a lot easier than a sealing bag. So you know how sealed bags never, for some reason, work for me after I open them. The sugar gets in them, sugar spills, things like that. I just prefer to have these instead, that I know is just like a one press thing, a lot less messy. So I'm gonna put the brown sugar and the oats into my containers, and then I'm going to create labels for them. This is just a cheap, like $12 label maker from Amazon that I got, so nothing fancy, but just so I can see what is in each item. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Now that I've taken everything out of the pantry, taken all the items out, sort them by use groups, and then put them into containers, wiped everything down, etc. I'm going to do the same with my extra cabinet. I did make sure to consolidate all my cookware and things like that to leave me an extra cabinet by the stove. And when I realized the pantry wasn't quite big enough, especially since I have a ton of spices that I like to have on display while cooking right next to the stove. The cabinet opens up this way, so it's perfect. Just grab and go, or leave it open when I'm cooking. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing I did in the pantry here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few of the items that, or containers that I like to use to sort my pantry and cabinets. One of my favorites here is a spice rack from the Container Store. It's from the Home Edit line, and the reason I like it is adjustable, so it can go all the way out or all the way in, depending how much space you need. The only thing about this one is that it is really deep. So because of that, it barely fits in my cabinet, but I got it in. It does tilt a little bit, but I personally love it so much, so I don't care. These bamboo stackable bins are another one of my favorite containers to use. I love that they're stackable, so if I wanted, I could get a third and really go for it. You can't really always see what's all the way in the bottom one, so I like to store things one item usually under here. It's usually sweet potatoes, and then on the top I'll usually do any kind of fruit, avocados, or anything that I don't want to get smushed. But yeah, I love the stackable containers. One of the items I highly suggest for anyone is going to be spinning items or rotating items. So it's like a Lazy Susan, but I mean, of course it's a container, so it's not just free. I do actually have like a Lazy Susan container as well. But these just are great for sauces, spices, whatnot. And I like that you can place them in higher shelves, because a lot of times in higher shelves I can't like see back there. So I like to be able to have this so I can turn it and view everything and not be limited by sight. The next one is the classic risers. I love risers because of course you can get space underneath, you can get space on top. You're basically doubling, creating another shelf in your pantry. So yeah, those are the items that I tend to use most. I also have just large bins from the Container Store. Most of these are from the Container Store. A few are from Target, but you can find them all on Amazon as well. I'm gonna start putting things back in the best way that I feel. So like I said, in my cabinet, I like my spices right by the stove and oven. And then for the pantry, the way that I put things back is whatever I use most, I keep at eye level, or what I want to use most at eye level. And then I try to put snacks or chocolates on the bottom shelf, or top shelf, just so that I don't always see them, because I feel like if I see them, I snack unnecessarily a lot. Or for sweets, I just like grab sweets for no reason because I'm always seeing them. So I try to put them below my eye level, so that way they're not always in perfect reach. So as I'm putting things back in my pantry, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I put the items that I use most or would like to use most in my two shelves that are at eye level. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my smoothie items at one, fruit and veggie in another, because those are things that I find myself reaching for most. I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back now. Okay, so here is the finished product. So I will go ahead and show you what I did now. So at the very top, I put paper towels, napkins, and a few other extra plastic utensils for when we've had people over in the past. Second highest shelf, I went ahead and put all my sauces in this spinning thing. Since it is quite a high shelf, I like to have these rotating bins. And then on this side, I went ahead and put my parchment paper, tinfoil, Ziploc bags, and then pasta sauces, and broth. This is the shelf that I see the most, so I wanted to go ahead and put my vegetables, sweet potatoes, avocados, we have bananas and fruit, bread here, and my smoothie stuff. So I have chia seeds, maca powder, hemp seed, I think back here I have cacao powder, coconut, shredded coconut, MCT oil there. The only random thing on this shelf is the gluten-free baking and pancake mix. So why I put that here is because this is like my breakfast area really. On this shelf is my baking shelf and cooking shelf. All my baking items here, and then I have all my cans of beans, all my dried pasta and dried garbanzo beans. And then on the lowest shelf before we get to the ground level, we have all my snacks and my sweets. All my snacks and spreads, so almond butter, peanut butter, and then some popcorn back there, almonds, etc. I do randomly have solo cups here because we try not to use them, but sometimes when we have people over, we prefer that. And then at the very bottom, I have extra containers for my baking stuff, and then those are cooler bags, and then these are extras of my hemp waters and regular water bottles. Cabinet, all my spices nicely organized, all my extra oils and baking stuff up there. So the only things that are not on the shelf here are my salt, my stevia, and then I have 2 extra spices back there of garlic and cumin. You can see that most of my baking stuff is in this little corner here, my baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, etc. And then everything else is just regular seasons. And up here I have my vanilla extract, peppermint extract, maple syrup, honey, cocoa powder, all the cooking different sprays I have, and then olive oil and coconut oil back there. That is my cabinet and pantry organization in a small 1-bedroom apartment. I hope you guys enjoyed and found the tips helpful or inspirational or something. I love watching these videos on YouTube, and anything to do with organization actually just really makes me happy, and having an organized pantry just makes things a lot easier, more efficient. You guys enjoyed, and I will see you next week.